Hi, and welcome to a new episode of the Resilient Voices podcast. My guest today is zooming in with me from Sweden, and her name is Evelina Roos. She's a life coach who embodies the power of femininity, I was going to say, and of course, resilient. And she's going to share some of her story today, and that is a survival of a breast cancer story, if that's how we put it. I will just jump straight in and introduce you to Evelina. Hi, and welcome, Evelina.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy that you wanted to join us and really talk about your story and your experience. I think it's super important for women out there that they can hear someone else's story and maybe find some resemblance and some strength also in you sharing your story and how you have overcome your obstacles and your challenges.
Yeah, and that's exactly also why I wanted to come on. Obviously, it's lovely to see you and talk to you, but also because I think it is a story worth sharing because I hope other people are going to be able to find some nuggets of inspiration or find some strength in it. And if it's just one person finds something useful, then I'm super happy to share.
Yeah, and that's exactly. Thank you for saying that, Evelina. That's exactly why I do this podcast and because I think sometimes it is just that one person, that one voice that we need, one message that we need to find strength to move on, to know that yes, I am not alone. Someone else is doing this. So thank you so much for joining here and sharing your vulnerable journey, because I do assume it touches vulnerability as well.
Of course, it does. And funnily enough, though, because I was trying to prepare a little bit for today, and I realized that a lot of things I don't actually remember.
Yeah.
So I had to go through my own kind of journals and my Instagram where I recorded a lot of what was happening, the process. But I see that as something really positive because it's been almost 3 years. So it goes
Wow.
to show that time really heals and
Yeah.
it's a process and you move on. So that's also something you can take with you, hopefully.
Yeah, that's good to know. But Evelina, would you mind take us back to that time, that point in time about 3 years ago when you actually found out that you had a diagnosis, that you had a condition that was quite scary, I assume, to get initially?
Extremely scary. So I live in Sweden, and in Sweden, when you're after 40, you have this like bi-yearly scan. You scan your breasts for the purpose of detecting breast cancer early.
Yeah.
And I've done a few of those scans before. This was maybe my third. I was 46 at the time. It's pretty much standard routine. You go in, you do like a mammogram. So it's not very nice because the machine kind of squishes your breasts together to do the scan. And then after like a week or so, you get normally you get just like a letter on the post saying, everything was fine. But this time I got a letter saying we need to do some more testing.
Wow.
So I was like, what? Testing what? Obviously, I knew what, but it came as a shock, obviously, and I was super scared. I also knew that, they could do some more extensive testing and it could be nothing.
Yeah.
But the other side was, of course, that it could be something. And the question
Yeah.
was what, how severe, etc. So I would say that when I went for that second scan, that was one of the toughest moments because I didn't know anything, and it was like a very elaborate process. I was in and out of different rooms, running around in the hospital with like a little hospital gown, feeling extremely vulnerable, feeling very exposed. And I remember lying there on that kind of bed where they did the biopsy, and they were super nice, the nurses, and they did a good job and everything, but I remember lying there and thinking, okay, so they're looking for cancer, and the possibility is probably quite high since they asked me to come back and do a second screening test. And I remember a thought that I had, and I asked myself, I said, okay, what if I only have 2 more years to live? And what if those 2 years, if I'm like reasonably healthy, what do I want to do? What do I want to
Wow.
achieve in those 2 years? And that's a question that I never ever have had to ask myself before. I didn't have the reason to ask it, but now suddenly I did, and it was quite mind blowing.
Yeah, it's a big question, isn't it?
It is a
Especially
question.
in the situation you were in, that it may be a possibility as well, because this was before you knew.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't know anything at the time, but then quite soon after, I found out that they had found some cancer cells in my breast. And at the time, it was like a very small amount. It was like a very small area they had found. And then the journey was, feel free to interrupt me if it's getting too,
Yeah.
too long, but I'm going to try to make it quite short. What happened, like the whole thing with my cancer journey, was that every time I saw the surgeons, it just got worse and worse and worse. So it started off as something small, and then I had some more tests and some more scans, and then it went from 0.5 centimeter to 3.5 centimeter, which was a huge difference, which also required a total different surgery, and it required some reconstruction surgery afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was told that I wasn't going to do any radiation therapy, and then I was going to do radiation therapy. So it was a very kind of stressful time in
Yeah, but
terms of
yeah. Yeah,
information given.
I just want to ask, does this from when you first discover it until this you were doing the process, was it growing that fast, or did they misjudge the first? Do you know that,
That's a really
or?
good question, and we don't really have the answers to that. We're
Okay.
probably going to tie it up in the end, but
All right.
I
Yeah.
don't think it was growing that fast. No, I think they did a different type of scan, which is more
Okay.
extensive.
All
So that's
right.
why
Okay.
it showed up more on the second scan. But I'm going to get back to that later on. But what I wanted to talk maybe more about is how I felt at the time and how I was
Yeah,
dealing
that's
with it.
absolutely. Please do.
One thing is like the steps that are given when you're like in treatment, like you see your doctors, your surgeons, you have like some nurse that informs you of everything, but those are just the practical steps. The other thing is like obviously myself, how I dealt with it, my emotions, how I was feeling,
Yeah.
my findings, my learnings, my what I got out from it. So I would say the first question was obviously why me? I live a quite healthy life. I eat fairly well. I exercise. I don't do
Yeah.
any kind of extreme something that's bad for me. I think I'm generally a quite good and nice person.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's super is that you're a very positive person, the way I know you
Yeah,
back, that you have a very positive mindset.
true, and that's also kind of what helped me through this.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
So I was asking myself why, how could this happen when I was quite young? Like normally you're like 65 plus to get diagnosed with breast cancer, and I was 46, so it was very confusing and I was very sad. But then one day I was walking my dog in the forest, and I just had like a download or some kind of realization where I realized that this isn't punishment. This is actually something, it's more like a life lesson that I'm going through. And when I realized that, I could kind of shift my whole perspective around. So it wasn't something that was what it wasn't something that was done to me. It was something that I was experience, and I was meant to experience this so
Yeah.
that I would learn things from it.
Yeah. Wow, that's super
Yeah.
powerful. I get like
Yeah,
really, like you as well, the goosebumps. Yeah, because then you know that this is
yeah,
exactly, that's the confirmation
yeah.
from universe that yes, exactly, that's how it is, Evelina. And
Yeah,
you probably shows this if you believe this, that you have more than, I mean,
yeah,
that we're reincarnated souls.
yeah,
That so you've probably chosen this journey for some
yes,
reason, this
yes.
experience. Yeah,
I believe that too.
yeah,
So then I was more asking myself, okay, so this is a lesson I'm going through. What is the lesson? What do I need to learn? Like, what have I missed in my life?
yeah.
So what happened between I was diagnosed and when I actually had the surgery, I did a lot of like self-healing stuff. I went to different healers. I went to like a womb healing session. I went to a friend of mine who's a really good healer, and I did
Yeah.
some alternative medicine. But at one of those healing sessions, I remember asking, my whole purpose was like asking, why did this happen? But not from that kind of victimhood, like, oh, why is this happening to me? More like, what is the lesson here? What am I supposed to learn?
Yeah.
What is it that I need to be made aware of that I haven't been able to see before? And what came out of this is that I was in a really badly abusive relationship before, just before the same year. I think the relationship ended in May and I got diagnosed in November.
Oh wow.
So when I asked the question, why is this happening to me? I saw my ex in an area where he would never be normally, and he always takes the car and he was walking. So it was just like a confirmation to my question, like, why is this happening? And it's not that I believe that he gave me cancer. It was more about that I allowed him to treat me badly. I didn't stand up for myself and I didn't
Yeah.
put down enough boundaries, basically.
That's a beautiful lesson, and also I think that indirectly he may have been the cause, because you know that most diseases come from sort of some stress to your system. So probably you were allowing him to treat you
Yeah.
in a way that you put yourself through that stress
Yes.
as well, in combination obviously with him putting you through that. But since you accepted it, your system, you had a conflict in your whole system that maybe have been like escalating the stress. Could that
Yes.
be? Yeah.
And I also heard, and I haven't read this study myself, but I've heard about a study made that one of the most common causes of cancer is actually, it's not hereditary and it's not
Yeah.
the environment, but it's actually
Yeah.
relationships and relations. And if you look at couples who have been together for a really long time, when one person dies,
Yeah.
the other one often gets diagnosed with cancer quite soon after.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if this is true or not, but it was interesting. For me, it was definitely like, in a way, the harm I did to myself for not like being clear with my boundaries and walking away from a really harmful
Yeah.
relationship. But I do take responsibility for that because, like you said, yeah, he was part of it, but I could have walked away. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a really powerful experience, and really empowering also to get that and to know that you have the key to your healing journey as well.
yeah,
Because if you can make yourself sick together with someone else's treatment, and you're not acting on that, obviously you can turn it around and heal yourself that way, right?
yeah, and that's what I kind of focused on as
Yeah.
well. Like when I realized this, I also I decided to take like the higher perspective all the time. So I never talked about being sick. I never talked about having cancer. I never had those kind of. There's a lot of like aggressive language around cancer. You talk about beating the cancer, beating the battle, and those kind of that kind of narrative. And I never saw my cancer as something that needed to be beaten. I worked on love instead.
Yeah.
I saw it as, okay, I have an imbalance in my body, and that imbalance is going to be looked at and treated. But most of my body was still healthy, and I
Yeah.
never forgot that. And I thanked my cells every single night for being healthy and full of energy and love. And that we together were gonna, take care of the part that wasn't loved. And that's actually what I did in one of the healing sessions. We just bombarded the area with love.
Yeah.
So I never had that kind of, I'm going to beat this. It was more like accepting, this is what's happening. Why is this happening? Okay, we understand why it's happening. Let's just love the shit out of ourselves. Basically.
I love that. That's the message. Huh?
Yeah, it is.
Because love is really the cure here. It is the light, the love, and just work with that. So I think you're putting it so nicely in a way. What I believe as well. I don't know, there was a documentary called Heal. I don't know if you've, there's like an alternative documentary, alternative within brackets.
Yeah.
It depends on what we believe here. But
Who you are.
there was this woman, she treated her cancer diagnosis with laughter. She, that together with some other alternative treatments, but she decided that she was going to laugh as much as she could. So she spent her days watching funny movies, spending time with her husband, and they just made sure that they were just filled with love and joy. And that really helped her progressing her healing journey. So I think it's definitely possible to do that.
I think so too. And this kind of takes me to the next step of this journey. So I had healing with healers. I did some alternative medicine. I also asked everyone I knew. I said, I'm going to have this surgery. Please pray for me. Not just that the surgery is going to go well, but that they weren't going to find anything more in my body.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't going to need any more treatments after this. And I want to tell you this story. Just before I was going to take a cab to the hospital to do the surgery, I had these kind of oracle cards, and I just wanted to pull a card to give me some kind of inspiration just before I was going to go. And I was a little bit stressed. So I was shuffling the cards, and all of a sudden, all the cards just flew out on the floor. And I was like, I don't have time for this. I gathered all the cards together. And then I'd missed one. And I picked it up, and it was Archangel Michael. And it said something, I can't remember the message, but it was angels are standing by, you're being safe, and miracles can occur, it said. And I took that energy and I went in with it. And I felt the energy from everyone that I had reached out to. I didn't reach out to people personally, of course, my close friends, but I was very open on social media. And I said, please pray for me. And if you're not religious, just send me some positive energy. Just send me some, good thoughts. And I could feel that energy with me when I was going to the hospital. I had a friend she was studying to be a priest, and she went down to the Birgitta convent in Sweden and prayed with all the nuns.
Oh.
So that was just I felt so blessed in that way that I totally believe that helped. Totally, 100%.
Yeah. That's so beautiful to share that. And I think that regardless of what other people think, and as long as you're convinced that you think that and that you can channel that energy, that with your own, that's your own truth, that this is going to work for me, then obviously it will.
Yeah, but it's also a bit challenging because, like you said, it's my truth, it's my story, and that's why I'm so happy I can share it here as well. But depending on who you talk to, of course, they're going to have their perspective or their ideas. Or, when I say I took some alternative medicine, there goes, some people just laugh it off. Even they wouldn't laugh it off to my face, but you could see that they're very skeptical about it.
Yeah, but tell me, Evelina, from when you got the diagnosis or the whatever, we don't want to call it diagnosis.
I used the word diagnosis.
Yeah.
I didn't call myself sick. I said I have a diagnosis.
It's a diagnosis until you actually started to get some treatment. How long was that?
Well, it went very quickly. So I think it was about maybe 6 weeks from,
Okay.
But this is the interesting part. So I go into the hospital. Obviously, I'm very scared and nervous and all of that, but I did have a good experience. Like the staff were like really, really good. And then I come home. My mom is here. She's taking care of me. And I want to talk a little bit about being alone in this process because I
Yeah.
think it's kind of
Yeah.
key. But before we can kind of jump back to that, what happened, and this is the interesting part. I think it was about a week after I had my surgery, I was called back to kind of, yeah, well, just like, how are you? How are you doing? What's the latest update kind of a thing. So I'm there, and the surgeon, who she was like with me during the surgery, and she says, well, I have some good news and some bad news. And I was like, oh my God, please don't tell me they found more cancer. And she said, well, we sent everything off to the labs because that's what they do. And they checked it several times and they couldn't find a single cancer cell in the part that they took out of me. And I asked her, like, why? What happened? And she was like, we have no idea what happened.
But we know, don't we, Evelina?
No, we know. I mean, I was like, but at the same time, I was shocked.
Yeah.
And it also made me feel very mistreated and butchered. And I asked her, like, how can you not have any answers for me? And she's like, no, we don't know.
Yeah.
So it was, on the one hand, I was super happy. On the other hand, I was like, you just did this huge operation,
Yeah.
surgery for what?
Yeah, because they did not double check
Exactly. They could have done a
before.
blood scan, but they,
Yeah. Wow. So, because obviously that was all the healing. That's why I asked about how long was the period between the diagnosis and operation, because you said that you did a lot of healing sessions and self-healing
Yep.
in between. So in this, it was a speedy process then from, if it was 6 weeks.
But I think, Jessica, to be honest with you, I think it has to do with like my own realization of what it was, that it was this life lesson that I had decided
Yeah.
before coming down here that I was going to have this experience. And I also decided to see it as a gift. I decided that this wasn't just, well, it was a lesson, and a tough lesson, but I also realized like going through all of this, it was going to make me stronger. It was going to, give me a lot of appreciation for myself, for
Yeah.
life, for love,
Yeah.
for the smallest of things that I didn't have the same focus before, even though I was always very present. Afterwards, a little bird that you hear, in the forest could just be like, oh my God, or I just like
Yeah.
have that appreciation for life. Kind of, it was, I don't know, reborn, reinstated somehow. That was one of the gifts. But I would say that the biggest gift was that because I was alone in all of this, and I say alone, I mean, obviously I had friends, I had my mother, but I didn't have a partner at the time. And I remember being very sad about that because I just really wanted someone's shoulder to lean on and cry on and kind of curl up into someone else's
Yeah.
arms and just kind of
Yeah.
feel small and allow myself to be that. So I started to self-soothe instead. So I would kind of sit and kind of stroke myself. I would hug myself. I would, do all of this. And it really helped. And I cried a lot. I let all the sadness just kind of pour out of me because even though I had my own understanding of why it was happening, I was still very sad, of course, because it was still a serious illness.
Yeah, and anything different would be strange, wouldn't it? Because that would also probably not help you heal, because part of healing is actually feeling it, and tears and the sadness is obviously a feeling that needs to move through you, and you need
Yes.
to face it and be with it.
Yes.
And also, I guess the feelings of being scared and being, I mean, it must have been so many feelings that you.
It was so many, like I described it somewhere as I had 500 feelings at once because it was angry, scared, feeling lonely, feeling that I had to how to navigate telling people and
Yeah.
how to navigate like being in it and kind of having all the alternative medicine
Mm.
as well as it was a lot. But like one of my greatest what I take with me from this process is actually the love and the respect I found for myself. Because I was doing it on my own, because was crying and crying and crying and like, comforting myself all the time, working on the whole kind of accepting, understanding why, etc., etc., etc. It gave me a strength that I didn't have before, or maybe I had it, but I wasn't aware of it. But now I feel like nothing could faze me. And I don't say that as a challenge because I'm sure a lot of things could face me still, but I just feel so incredibly strong. And I feel like no one has my back like I do. And I am my own biggest champion and I'm my biggest lover as well. It's like
Yeah.
it's all within me and I can do it myself for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just makes me so happy to hear, because this is really, I mean, one thing that for all of you who are listening, I mean, for everyone that, I mean, that must be our life goal, to be that person for ourselves, that we are our best friends, we are our lovers. We are the ones that can provide for us the best, and then
Yes.
everything on top of that, that's the bonus. That's the icing on the cake. That's what we say. Yes, thank you that I have a beautiful mother, that I have friends that, or whoever that stands there with me and someone to lean on. But the knowingness, I think what you're sharing is that I got this.
Yeah.
Just throw some more shit at me and I will embrace it and I will go through it because I am a champion, right?
Yeah.
Not that you want that,
No,
but
no, you don't want it, but you know you could handle it if
yeah,
it happened. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. For sure.
So, and that's really the price I think we have to pay for resilience to really, I
Yeah.
mean, we really have to be, to really grow that resilience, that strength. We have to go through something really tough, life-changing in either if
Yes.
it's like you have, Evelina, or like some of our other guests on the podcast have gone through some other different challenges, but that's the common denominator here, that you face something, you
It's
embrace it, and
yes,
you just work through it.
exactly. And I think that's really the thing. Like there's no shortcuts. You just have to go right through it. And like you said, facing all the emotions, facing like the despair, the sadness, whatever it is. And it could be it could be so many different things. Like it was breast cancer in my situation. It could be, whatever. And no one's comparing. It's your journey and only you can go through it. And that is what makes us resilient when we do that.
Yeah.
And we come out on top stronger.
Stronger, yeah, absolutely. And then you, if and it's also, if you embrace it as that lesson, then that comes with gratitude, right?
Yeah, yeah. And also a hope of not having to go through this lesson again. Like I really hope it's the cancer is kind of done in this lifetime for me. I mean, you never
Yeah.
know, but I really hope so. And I think, yeah, with the awareness of what it was, that it wasn't
Yeah.
just an illness, it was much more than that, for sure.
So how would you say that your life is different now? Because knowing you before your diagnosis, I know you as a very positive person. You've like a lot of life energy and a lot of wisdom,
Thank
and
you.
like a wise person. I mean, so
Thank you.
you already had a lot of resources and a very positive outlook on life. And then, but then with this, you've changed even more to, or do you want
Yeah,
to elaborate on what's different? What is,
it's kind of different things because I was talking before about how I felt this love for myself and respect for myself. And I think that's something I carry with me every day. And it makes me treat myself better. Like I take even better care of myself now. And I try to make the most out of every day, not every single day, of course not, but I try to live my best life here and now, and whatever circumstances I am. So it's more about that kind of knowing we are here and now, like being a bit more aware of time if you want. Uh, Also, like really appreciating the small things. Like I said, I could like have a bath and it could be like the most glorious thing ever. I'm just like, God, it's so luxurious.
Because it is, because you have a body that you live in a
Exactly.
body and that can feel the sensations of it.
Exactly, exactly. And before maybe bath was just a bath. Yeah, it was nice and relaxing,
Yeah.
but now it can be so much more. So I think it's kind of opened my eyes in a very good way. So being much more appreciative of the small things, and also becoming more pickier, I would say, like with everything from jobs to friends to where I choose to put my energy, and also who I let into my energy.
Yeah.
Currently I'm single and dating, and that's a bit of a tricky one because everything I've been through, I'm quite yeah, picky and choosy with whom I let into my energy.
Yeah. And like you said in the beginning also, that a relationship is really a source for, it can be a source for something, like the cancer
Yeah,
itself. So you know that a relationship is very
could
important,
be.
that you actually pick the right.
Yes, exactly. Because I obviously picked the completely wrong person the last time, but that was also again part of
Yeah.
my planning, I guess, before I reincarnated. So it was part of the lesson. Whatever. So I'm fine with that, but
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a mistake because I don't want things to be a mistake in my life. It was a lesson. But I don't want to have that lesson again. Next time I want to have a beautiful, loving relationship with someone who's like equal to me.
Yeah. And I think that's really good, because I've had myself an experience with a really toxic relationship that that taught me so much about myself and what I want in my life, and also how the relationship I want. And it is possible then to actually know that. Then you start to just sort of find your way, and it's like it will be a tricky process, because I was also single for a very long time, and now I found this loving partner that
I heard. I'm so happy for you. That's amazing.
since like 3 months and a bit
Wow.
now, and so there it is possible. But then that's when you start to date, you sort of, no, not that one, not this one. Obviously it needs to be a mutual connection, so it's not me picking or just you picking.
No,
Obviously
no, no, of course not.
the other person needs
You need to feel in the other person's energy. And also
yeah,
like what I feel now is like you said before, like there's nothing, I don't need anything from anyone else
yeah,
because I can give myself everything I want, but then everything that comes is just like a great bonus.
yeah.
But when you go out with that energy into like a dating environment, it's completely different because normally people are there because they want things from other people.
Yeah.
And I do as well. I want things, but I don't need them, which is like makes me like operate on a different kind of energy. I can't really explain it, but I'm
Yeah.
sure the listeners can
Yeah, I'm
understand.
sure that most of the listeners to this podcast are in the same type of frequency, and understand what we talk about in that context, I think.
Yeah. And another thing is that I feel humbled. I feel humbled, like especially from like coming from that like really horrible relationship. I saw myself as the most independent person ever, and if you ask all my friends, they would say the same. And so, how could someone who was so independent and so kind of doing my own thing end up in that situation? But I did. And you know how you say to someone like, oh, if you're in a relationship and someone hits you, they abuse you one time and then you leave.
Yeah.
I had said that, myself.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
again, I was in a relationship. Okay, I wasn't physically abused, but I was mentally abused
Yeah.
over and over and over and over again. And I stayed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think, yeah, and you're not alone doing that. And I think that is because I have the same philosophy as you. And I think that if a lot of women do, because I don't think that this with the emotional abuse and that type of abuse, it sort of sneaks on you in a different
Oh,
way.
yes.
I think
Yes. It's
it's
very
more
sneaky.
subtle,
And oh, yes, yes, yes.
so you don't really notice it. So you start to sort of become a part of that environment, and then all of a sudden you sort of like it becomes the norm. It becomes like normal behavior
Yeah.
basically within that relationship, and then but then maybe you have some friends around or some people around that start to question that man, that behavior. Is like, this doesn't make sense. Why are you putting up with this? And then it's like, oh, really? It's not how we do this.
Yeah, but then you're so invested, and also there's
Yeah,
a relationship is never like all bad, because then of course I wouldn't have stayed.
yeah,
Obviously,
of
it was a
course.
lot of good things as well, but I just remember the bad now.
Yeah.
But the relationship aside, what I like the feeling that I feel more humbled by life, and it also means that I respect life more, and
Yeah.
like I said, I pay more attention to small things, and which also means that small things brings me joy. I don't need so many things from the
Yeah.
outside. It's just like being aware, watching a beautiful sunrise, or it could just be the simplest things. And I'm truly grateful for that. That's like really magical. It's like, having paradise here right now because you can enjoy those small things instead
Yeah.
of,
Yeah. Isn't that what you say? That paradise is actually, we can create paradise on earth where we live because we can also create hell on earth, and we
yes,
do that ourselves.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's,
It's about being present and appreciating things and accepting things, and also maybe not have such huge expectations on life of life. Maybe just kind of, when people say it is what it is. I love that because it's just like accepting it is what it is, and
yeah.
then you're good.
Yeah. And I keep on coming back to the work with Byron Katie. I don't know if you've done anything or read anything with her. It's about loving what is. And that we have all the pain that we go through and all the suffering really is that we have an idea that life should be something different, where
Yeah.
people should behave in a different way. And it's like, no, there are no shoulds. It is what it is. Love what is, because this is life. And if you don't like it, remove yourself, because you only have power over yourself, really, because you can't
Yes.
really affect other people's behavior. I guess you can try to influence them, but in the end, if they don't act the way you would like them to, then you
Yeah.
either adapt or move away from that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
No, I totally agree. And like the only thing you can control is really your own reactions or emotions, or your mindset, how you see things.
yeah,
But I think that's also what I managed to do in this journey, like with the sickness. I managed to kind of shift I don't know if I shifted my mindset so much. It came to me, It was really like a realization. So,
yeah.
but it gave me so much. It just gave me that understanding, and then I could kind of work with everything in a different way.
Yeah, it sounds like that a realization that this was a gift given to you, and that you unlocked something there, didn't you? And
Yeah,
when you came to
yeah,
that, that
yeah.
was the key to.
Yeah, it really was. It was like the first understanding was that it was a life lesson, that I had chosen this. So if I had chosen this, it must be for a reason. And then it's like, what is the reason?
Yeah,
What am I supposed to learn here? Where are the gifts? Because I'm sure they're gonna come. And
yeah, yeah.
I used to call it a cancer, a gift that keeps on giving, because I
Wow.
just keep having these kind of, not epiphanies really, but like, small realizations all the time. Like, oh, I can see this now clearly, or I can understand this in a different way, or I can appreciate this more, or I can, like I say, I'm much more humble as a person towards other people and their struggles than I was before. Not that I was obnoxious in any way, but it's, just another layer of
Yeah.
understanding, I guess.
Oh, that's beautiful. Really.
Thank you.
So you said something at the beginning about your mother. Did you want to come back to that? Because she was supporting you.
Yeah, it was also a bit weird because this was in 2022, and in 2017, my dad died of cancer. Like he was 68, so way too young. And then in 2019, my mom got breast cancer, but she was in a much worse state than I was, but
Okay.
she pulled through. So it was good having her with me, and she was like, yeah, the closest person I had around me at that time. And also because she'd kind of gone through it herself. So she came with a different kind of understanding. Because you can speak to your friends all day long and you can be sad and they can be there and supportive and whatnot. But if you don't have that same or similar experience, you're never going to know what it's like.
No. I mean, so that's also what a gift to have that.
Yes.
So did that change your relationship as well? Did you grow closer to your mother, or?
We already had a really good connection and a really beautiful relationship before. I think maybe we became more closer when she was sick because she was more dependent on me at that time. So I kind of nursed her and, cared for her. But it was still very like she stayed with me for a week after the surgery, and we just cooked together and watched like television and movies and whatnot. And it was just like a really nice, I mean, nice is weird, but it was nice to have her there and we could like do things together.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to focus on work or anything else. We were just kind of, okay, now it's healing time. Now we need to eat. We need to relax. We need to sleep. It was good. It was good.
It sounds amazing, really, to have that. I mean, for most people, to have the mother who carried you to given birth to you is a safe space to be in. Not for
Yeah.
everyone, unfortunately, but it is like it creates a different safety. I just said that because I lost my mother almost 3 years ago, and I wasn't really sort of prepared to do that, and I'm over 50, and it's like I need my mom. I would like my mom to be here because obviously she has been an immense support for me in my life. So I think that when you have a good connection and bond with your mother, that's going this person that you're always want to have close to you, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
Yeah.
And especially when you're like sick or when you're going through
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
difficult, because it's that safety, that kind of warmth. And like you say, even if you don't necessarily have a great relationship with your mother as an adult, you still have those memories of being cared for and soothed and nurtured and all of that as a child, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, yeah. I actually, this is a good point. I haven't thought so much about that she was like a big influence as well. But I think you're right. Definitely.
So tell me, Evelina, if someone, we talked about the tools that you used a lot of, like self-healing and self-soothing, and that you saw healers, but did you use any type of tool? Did you journal? Did you do meditation? What kind of practices, how did your toolbox look like, and what does it look like now? Because obviously you've developed something.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, but I don't really have a good answer. I think it was a lot of it has to do with just acceptance and like how I refuse to see myself as sick. So it
Yeah.
was more about like how I use my mind to kind of help me through this. Like I wasn't sick, I was having an imbalance and it was going to take being taken care of. I was a healthy person in a healthy body. That
Yeah.
was my like basis. Like,
That was your mantra.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sick, I'm healthy. okay, I'm not 100% healthy. There's a part of me that's sick and it's affecting my body in a bigger way, but that can be dealt with. And also because I understood that it's not just like Western medicine and surgery that was going to do the healing, but also like my work and energy work and like the help from everyone else as well.
Yeah.
And really, like we talked, like the energy of love and self-love and self-soothe. I think the self-soothing was a big part of it. Like really kind of holding myself and like taking care of myself, basically. So mindset, self-soothing, acceptance, of course, and then going with it instead of going against it.
Yeah.
Again, accepting, but not saying, I'm going to beat it and battling. I was like, no, none of that. I'm not battling. It's my body. I'm not battling my body. I'm supporting it. I'm giving it love. So it was,
I think
yeah,
that's super important to really to emphasize that it's not a battle, but it's something different. And
yeah.
yeah.
And it's,
Did you? Sorry.
no,
Continue.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, did you eat something? Did you change your diet in any way, or did you just sort of?
Well, I mean, I was the doctors wanted me to stay off, the normal stuff, sugar, alcohol, red meat, and everything. I'm a big red meat person, so I still eat that a lot. But I didn't use an alcohol, no sugar. I think that was it. But that was just to kind of be in good shape. I did a lot of exercise. Because I also had some frustration in me, So it really helped to go like boxing or running to kind of just help me deal with some of the heavier emotions. And then I did something called MMS, which is maybe I can like send you a link or something later on. It's basically, yeah, it's an alternative medicine that it's known for helping out with cancer.
Okay.
But I can't talk so much about it because I'm not so very knowledgeable about it.
Okay.
Someone suggested that I would do it, and I did it. So I took this mixture for 3 weeks, like 8 times a day, like different
Okay.
drops, and I drank it, and I think that had a big reason why it went away as well.
Okay.
But then again, like you're not allowed to say these kind of things, and it's a very
No, but
controversial. But I believed it was a combination of
yeah.
those drops and the healing and all the positive energy that was sent to me, and my
We
own
will,
work.
yeah, and your own work, of course. So we will share that in the podcast notes, and if someone wants to
Yeah.
look into it, it's up to them. But I think it's nice to have some sort of testimonial and what you think about it, and then it's up to everyone else to decide for themselves, of course.
Yeah, and
So
it was so funny because I remember when I first was given the information that the whole area they removed, that it came back clear, like no signs of cancer. So I was like, so did I have cancer or not? Was the big question. And I couldn't really answer it. And then it was, I asked them, like, do you think I was miraculously cured? I
and what
asked
was
the surgeon, and they were like, we don't know what happened, but no, we don't think that you were miraculously cured. And I was like, of course I was.
and of course they would say no to that question because it's
But,
not
maybe someone who had been a bit older, a bit wiser, been around the block, had like a different
yeah.
understanding of the universe might have given me like a little kind of wink or whatever, but they were like, nope.
And I think that answer is an answer in itself from where I come from, because obviously the modern science and the medical society that we live in have their view, and they're not trained. In the normal, like the normal doctors
Yeah.
and they're not trained about any alternatives. I think you have to go to the Ayurveda doctors in order to actually see that they look at, they believe in different things and have different perspectives of. But the normal Western medicine, no, it doesn't exist for them. So of course they don't really see that. And there are some exceptions that maybe have gone through this themselves or seen, because I know there are some doctors that have a different approach, but in general, and the stronger I think that the no is, the stronger your yes is. Like, yes, I know, it was a miracle. Right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah. So that's beautiful. So Evelina, what is if you want to give some sort of, now you've really shared a lot about your experience and what helped you and supported you, but if a woman is listening that really is in a process of going through this, what do you want to say?
I want to say that you are much stronger than you think you are, and that you probably have the answers to why this is happening within you, even if you can't access it straight away. And to work with love and acceptance, because that's going to help you. I'm not saying that's going to cure you of cancer, but it's going to help you through the process.
Wow. Thank you, Evelina. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and really that you're willing to share your experience and your journey. And
I'm super happy and grateful I could do it. So big thank you.
Thank you for your resilience, and to all our listeners and viewers. Just whatever you're facing, whatever you're embracing in life, it's a gift given to you. It's a lesson, and you're much stronger than you think.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. And treat yourself with lots of love.
Yeah, that's the thing. Love yourself and learn to become your best friend and lover.
Yes.
And that will help you in any situation in life. So with that said, thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. And once again, thank you so much, Evelina.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.